Okay. Last time we saw how to find out inverse of a matrix uh, using adjoint method, right? But this time we will do it for a order 3 matrix. Last time we could only do it for order 2 matrix. This time we'll do it for order 3 matrix also. But the procedure is entirely same. You have to remember what was the procedure. The very first thing is we find out the determinant value, correct? Suppose a matrix A is given to you. We always first find out what is the determinant value of A, whether it is equal to 0 or not equal to 0. So only if that determinant value of A matrix or any matrix for that matter, only if it is not equal to 0 means inverse of the matrix will exist, correct? And then we also saw about the types of matrices, singular, non-singular, diagonal, and so on and so forth. So then here A inverse will only exist, or inverse of a matrix will only exist when the determinant value of the matrix is not equal to 0. Okay, so we had taken one example also, but it was of order 2 last time. So this time, now we'll do it for order 3. Remember the procedure. This is the first step. The second step was to find out minors and then the cofactors and then its adjoint matrix. So how did we find out minors? Minors is nothing but you um, choose a specific element of the matrix and then excluding or ignoring that row and that column in which that element you have chosen lies, उसको ignore करके remaining जो भी रहेगा उसका determinant, correct? And then cofactor के लिए we had used a formula. वैसे तो denoting cofactors we did it using capital AJ. Then the formula also I'll give you. So we're going to continue with the same in this class. Suppose this is matrix that I have chosen. Suppose A is 2 minus 1 1 minus 1 2 minus 1 1 minus 1 2. Okay, so this is the matrix and they tell you find A inverse using adjoint method. All right. Okay. So we know what is the first step we have to do. We have to find out its determinant value. We will check whether it is equal to 0 or not. If it is not equal to 0, only then we can find out, right? So this is 2 minus 1, 1, minus 1, 2, minus 1, 1, minus 1, 2 as it is. So we're going to find out the value of this determinant. How do we find out the value of this determinant? Now you kind of select first element, okay? This is the first element. Okay, so this I write it over here. This is the first element. Now ignore the row and the column in which that element that you've chosen lies. This is the element you've chosen. This is the row in which it lies. This is the column it lies. So इतना सारा part को ignore कर दो और जो भी remaining है उसको write it in the determinant form. So this much remains? Yes. Okay. Always it is alternate plus minus. Okay. So this one you will always change its sign only of the middle term. 2 whatever 2 is we wrote it as it is. We did not change the sign. Plus को हमने plus ही लिखा है. This is minus 1. So we will make it plus 1. You just have to change the sign of the middle term. That is minus into this thing, right? Now this element we have chosen. This is the row it lies. This is the column it lies. This is the row it lies, right? So ignore this row and this column. We will write whatever remains in the matrix form. Correct? Now coming to the third element. I've told you only that middle element we will change. मतलब it is alternate plus minus. इसको plus था तो इसको will make it minus. इसको plus है. Likewise, we will be changing the signs of alternate terms. So this term we will not change sign. So this will be plus 1 as it is. अभी ये column में lie करता है. ये row में lie करता है. So this row and this column we will ignore and then remaining we will minus 1, 1 and then 2 and minus 1. We will write it in the matrix. So that's it. Now we can solve these matrices. Now these are like order 2 matrices, determinants. So we know how to solve them. With this is nothing but always cross multiplying this one into this one minus of this one into this one. What is this? It's always better to write it using brackets. Now since this is the first one, I'll do it in detail. So this one is always 2 into 2, always a minus sign, and then this into this, minus 1 into minus 1, close the bracket. Next one ke liye plus 1, open the bigger brackets I'm using so that there will be no क्या बोलते हैं confusion later on. -1 into 2 minus of 1 into -1, close the bracket. Okay, and then +1 into these two things. All right. Okay, so now like opening the brackets and then solving. This is 2. 2 2s are 4 minus, what is this? -1 into -1 is +1, +1 into, this is -2, minus of, this is -1, right? This is like 1 into -1 is -1. So hum either bhi directly you could have written +1, but as I said, I'm writing it in detail. -1 into -1 is 1, minus of 2 into 1 is 2. Now just opening all the brackets. 4 minus 1 is 3, plus 1 into, this is what is it? This is -2 plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 into 1 minus 2 is -1. So what is the answer? 2 3s are 6 minus 1. This is -1. 6 minus 1 minus 1 is -1 5. 5 minus 1 4. Of course, this is not equal to 0. So when determinant A is not equal to 0, this means what? Inverse we can find out, right? Its inverse exists. Okay. So now what with the inverse? Inverse हो गया find करने के बाद. Then what did I tell you? Then the next step is finding out minors and cofactors, correct? अभी minors find करने के लिए last time it was order 2, so it was very easy. Suppose ऐसे कुछ भी order 2 का रहता है, तो अगर 2 का है तो उसका opposite was its minor. -1 है तो उसका opposite was its minor. So then, but this time we have it in order 2, order 3 matrix, right? So this is the big matrix that we have. So what will be the value of this thing? We are going to do it for individual matrix. अब जैसे ये वाला 2 है, okay? This is 2. This is the first element. We are going to find out minus for each and every element. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. ये सारे के सारे 9 elements का minus we have to find. Okay? Minus are found out by that element in which that the row and column in which that element lies. उसको ignore करके the remaining जो है उसका determinant value is nothing but the minor of that particular element. So we can do two things. Either we can find out minor first or we can directly find out cofactor first. Let me find out minor first. We'll do it stepwise. But you can directly find out cofactors also without minor. Because उसमें सिर्फ plus minus का change होता है ना. So that we'll do it. Let's us first find out minor. So what is minor means for M11? What M11 is what? First row का first element. First column, first row का first element. Right? This element. Now this row and this column, this matrix lies, no? So इसको ignore करके whatever remains, 2 minus 1 minus 1 2. Yes, so that is nothing but 2 minus 1 minus 1 2. What is the value of this? 2 minus 1 minus 1 2 is nothing but that is equal to 3. Correct? This we have already found out. 2 2s are 4 minus of, क्योंकि ये कैसे हमने find किया ना? How did I write that 3? You don't have to solve it. See ये क्या है? 2 minus 1 minus 1 2 is nothing but this only. 2 minus 1 minus 1 2. हमने इसको already find करके रखा था यहाँ पे. What is the value of this determinant? This 3 only. So then we can write that directly. Next one will be M12. What is M12? First row, second column का element. What is first row and second column का element? This is the element. Now ignore this row. I mean this column and this row you ignore. Whatever remains, minus 1 1 minus 2 minus 1 2 minus 1 1 minus 1 2. This is where it lies. So this is minus 1 into 2 is minus 2. This is what minus 1. So minus 2 minus of minus 1 is minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1. Alright. Now M13 will be first row. It is long of course, but it is very very easy. First row, third column ka element, this element. So I will ignore this row and this column. So what remains? Minus 1, 1, 2, minus 1. Minus 1, 1, 2, minus 1. Alright. Abhi what is the value? This is 1 minus 2 which is equal to minus 1. Now M12 M12 M13 हो गया, फिर अभी M21 राइट. M21 में M21, this is the element, second row and first column ka, second row and first column, right? So then what remains after hiding this row and this column? -1, 1 and 2, correct? This row and this column we hide, so we will get -1, 1 and 2. You just write it 1 and 2, so this is -2 minus of -1, which is equal to -2 plus 1 is -1, right? All right. The next one will be M22. I suppose you have understood the logic. So let me quickly write it. This is M22. This row and this column we will hide. So what remains? 2, 1, 1, 2, right? 2, 1, 1, 2. 2, 1, 1, 2. 2 2s are 4 minus 1, which is equal to 3. So let me write it for the remaining ones. 2, 1, minus 1. This answer is -2 minus of -1, that's equal to -1, -2 plus 1. M 3, 1 is -1, 2, 1, -1, which is equal to 1 minus 2, which is equal to -1. M 3, 2, 2 minus 1, 1 and -1, -2 minus of -1, which is equal to -2 plus 1 is -1. M33 is 2 -1, -1, 2, 2 2s are 4, minus of this is 3. Alright. So now all the minus we have found out. Now we're going to find out cofactors. Cofactors ke liye, this formula we had already done. -1 raised to I plus j, mij, correct? So mij. Now what is written in the textbook, as I've told you, textbook they have not directly, they're finding out minor and then cofactor, ऐसा नहीं है. They are directly finding out cofactors because of this formula. यहाँ पे देखो minor तो आ जाता है. So you're going to use it. So let us quickly write down cofactors. A1 is nothing but -1 raised to 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is always 2, right? So it's even power. So mij ka value will not change. What is this? Suppose M11 is 3, right? M11 is 3. We're doing it for A11. I ka value 1, J ka value 1. So -1 raised to 1 plus 1. M11 हमने क्या देखा था? That was equal to 3, correct? So this is -1 raised to 2 into 3. -1 का square is always equal to 1. This is even power, right? अगर ये odd होता था तो ये -1 होता था, correct? So that's equal to 3 only. Now A12. This is the -1 raised to 1 plus 2 into M12. What is M12? -1 into -1 is 1 plus 2, right? So this will be -1 raised to 1 plus 2 is 3, that is odd power, right? So odd power मतलब ये -1 रहेगा. So this will be 1. Okay? Are you understanding the difference now? Because see, जहाँ पे 1 plus 2 3 है, मतलब ये odd है. तो जो हमारा माइनर का आंसर था उसका साइन चेंज होगा. अब जैसे ये माइनर -1 है, कोफैक्टर विल बी उल्टा +1. और ये ऊपर वाला क्या था? A11 था, राइट? तो A11 मतलब 1 plus 1 is 2. मतलब it is even. So sign of that will not be a negative sign. So whatever sign of minus is there, that will be the same as a sign of cofactor. All right. So let us quickly do it for A13 as well. A13 will be -1 raised to 1 plus 3 into M1. So -1 raised to 1 plus 3 is 4, which is again even. So even I've told you it is not going to change. So what is M13 -1, right? So that is not going to change. This will be -1. Okay. So let us do it quickly for, by the way, what was this? A21. So let us try to do it quickly. 2 plus 1 is 3. So yes, odd hai, the sign will change. What is M21? M21 is -1. So sign change hoga. So it will be +1. A22. A22 matlab 2 plus 2 is 4. Even. Sign change nahi hoga. What is M22? M22 is 3. So as it is, I will write down 3. Next one. What is A23? 2 plus 3 is 5 is odd, साइन चेंज होगा. So what is m23 -1 है, तो मैं वही लिखूंगी with the उल्टा साइन, right? Now next one, a31. What is a31? 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 means even, sign is not changing. So this is -1 as it is. What is a32? A3 plus 2 is 5. 5 is odd power, sign will change. This is m32 -1 hai, so this will become +1. What is a33? 3 plus 3 is 6. So that's okay. So these are the values. So these are the cofactors we have got. 3, 1, -1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 1, 3. Just a second. So -1, 3. Okay. So these are all the cofactors we have got. Then what did we do in the previous sum? If you all remember, we made the cofactor matrix because we need it. We need the cofactor matrix because later on, as we're doing it using adjoint method, and adjoint matrix is nothing but the transpose of the cofactor matrix, right? So we'll first find out cofactor matrix and then uska transpose we will make. So what is cofactor matrix? A11 क्या है 3. The 3 I will write it as it is. A12 क्या है 1. I'll write it as it is. A13 क्या है -1. I'll write it as it is. A21 is 1. A22 is 3. A23 is uh, what is this? +1. Okay, yeah. This is not minus. This is +1. It looks like anyways -1, 1, and 3 as it is. Now what will be the adjoint matrix? Adjoint matrix, I've told you, it is nothing but the transpose. Transpose matlab everything ulta, right? Rows become columns and then columns become rows. So this is 3 1 -1. I will write it like this: 3 1 -1, 1 3 1, 1 3 1, -1 1 3, -1 1 3. So this is the adjoint matrix. Now we know the formula. What is the formula for finding out A inverse? We did it last time also. 1 upon determinant A into adjoint of A. So this is 1 upon, what was the determinant value of A? 4, right? So 1 upon 4 into adjoint A. Adjoint A is this entire thing as it is. Okay. So this looks like very big, but it is not tough at all. It is very, very, very easy. In fact, what happens is elementary row transformation, there are chances that you make mistake. You may not get that proper one. You may not get that proper 0, right? Whenever you have to make identity. But adjoint is very, very, very easy. But in the exam, you have to read what type of inversion are they asking for. If they tell you find inverse using elementary transformation, then you have to use that method only. If they tell you to do it using adjoint method, then you have to use this method only. Okay. Now there are many sums in the exercise given to you. They're all easy, just like consumes a little more time, but once you're okay with it, then you will not have any problem. Okay. So the next one is, let us go move on to application of matrices. So one such application of matrices is nothing but solving equations. हमने equation solve किया था ना, like linear equations if you have, then you have solved them simultaneously, right? You using method of substitution also you have done, but right now we will do it using matrices. So finding equations of linear equation is one such application of matrices. All right. Abhi, so what will happen over here? Suppose if they give you like any equation, as 3x plus 5y is equal to 10, 4x plus 3y is equal to 100, something like that. So in general, if you get any equation like this, a1x plus b1y is equal to c1, yeah, a2x plus b2 y which is equal to c2, a1 a2 b1 b2 c1 c2 are all numbers. ठीक है, कोई भी numbers. Okay. And now consider, so how will you have we will do this using matrices. How will matrices help us in finding out the solution set of this equations? That is nothing but value of x and y. So what you have to do is you will always consider this thing. Okay. Please remember this A will be the matrix where you will have coefficients of x and y. Okay. Coefficients of x यहाँ पे आएगा, coefficients of y यहाँ पे आएगा. What are the coefficients of x? A1, A2. I will write over here. This x and y you need not write in the exam. This is we are writing for the first time, so still I'm writing b1 and b2. Alright, a's, and then x will be nothing but x and y. That's the solution of what you have to find. And then c will be nothing but, or else you can use this as b, because just a second. Yeah, so you can use this as b also. Okay, so b will be nothing but the constants c1 and c2. So please remember, you have to make these three matrices. A will be the coefficients of x and y, x will be that unknowns that you have to find out, b will be the constants. Okay, so now what, how will you write this? The consider the following matrix equation for this above equations will be given as ax is equal to b. Please remember. So ax is equal to b will be, a is a1, a2, b1, b2. X is nothing but xy. B is nothing but c1 and c2. Okay. So after doing this, what we will do, we will kind of solve these two equations and then find out the value. Okay. So we will let us do it for equations then, instead of doing it for number, instead of doing it for variables. इसमें फिर then you will have to find out, multiply करना है इन दोनों को. अब जैसे this is what, this is order 2, this is 2 cross 2 and this is of 2 cross 1, so you will kind of multiply this and you will get a 2 cross 1 in general, and then let us do it for numbers. Okay, so पहले बात तो we will have I mean, before solving it, the equations directly using matrices, we will first solve tiny sums where you have to express it of the matrix form. Okay, for example, if you have a question like this, um, now, if they tell you that this equations, they are giving you 3x plus 5y is equal to 2 and minus 2x plus y, which is equal to 5. Abhi, isme if they tell you, write this in the matrix equation form. Matrix equation form. What is matrix equation form? This is only matrix equation form, right? So, ax is equal to b. So ax is equal to b. Mein, what did I tell you? What is a, what is b, and what is x? So ax is equal to b is nothing but, a will be, you can of course write it separately. A will be what? I've told you coefficients of x and y, right? So 3 minus 2, 5, and this is 1. 3 minus 2, 5, and 1. X is, I've told you the unknowns that you have to find out. B will be nothing but that constants, 2 and 5. Just a second. Okay? So is this clear? Okay. So the next one after this, you may also get it for a this was like an equation of two unknowns, two equations, two unknowns. Even if they give you three equations, three unknowns, so that should that also you should be able to find, because it is exactly similar. Ax is equal to b आएगा और 3 की जगह पे, for example, अगर ऐसा कुछ है, something like this. If you have this equation 3x plus 2y minus z is equal to 4, 7x minus 2y minus 2z is equal to 3, 2x minus 3y plus 5z is equal to 4. If you have something like this, again, if they tell you to express this in the matrix equation form, again you have ax is equal to b, a will be equal to 3, 2 minus 1, 7 minus 2 minus 2, 2 minus 3, 5. X will be x, y, and z now. Okay, because these are the three unknowns, no? 4, 3, and 4. So Ax is equal to B becomes something like this. Okay. Now, we have seen how to write it in the matrix equation form now. But what was our major aim? Our major aim was to actually solve and find out the value of x, y, and z. No, the solution set of these equations. So majorly for doing that, we have two methods for solving the equations. Okay, so that is nothing but method of inversion, and the second one is method of reduction. Okay, all right. So there are two methods for solving the equations. linear equations, we have method of inversion and method of reduction. So let us start with the method of inversion only first. So that is method of inversion. So what happens is we know that we have written the equations of this form, right? Ax is equal to b. Now अब हमको क्या चाहिए, हमको x का value find करना है, correct? But I've told you in the beginning only, there is not like, you cannot do it like x is equal to, हमारे पास ऐसा normal कोई equation होता है 3x is equal to 2. How do you find out the value of x? X is nothing but 2 by 3. This 3 you push it over here. But we can't do it like x is equal to b by a, because a and b are not numbers, right? They're matrices. So one matrice divided by other matrice ऐसा नहीं होता है. In terms of division, matrices में कुछ नहीं होता है. Instead, you will have to find out inverse, right? So what we just did. So what we will do is, जैसे a has to be pushed to that side, correct? So then we can easily find the value of x. So what we will do, we will find out A inverse first, okay? So then A inverse को find करने के लिए, हाँ, by the way, A inverse को किस कब find कर सकते हैं? Only when it is non-singular, right? Or the determinant of A is not equal to 0, correct? So then we'll find out A inverse, and after finding out A inverse, we will be pre-multiplying. Pre-multiplying, pre means पहले, okay? Post is later. Pre-multiplying means पहले multiply करना है. So A inverse first, and then pre-multiplying by A inverse on both sides. The main equation, this equation. So Ax, which is equal to A inverse into B. It is written clearly, means pre-multiplying मतलब left side first type multiply कर दो. So A inverse को पूरा equation को multiply करो A inverse से, but A inverse should be written first. Okay, so that's like this thing. Left hand side where you're going to multiply. Then what will you have? Then this property, right? The bracket kind of changes. So A inverse into A, we can always like, change the bracket. So what is this? Into x, which is equal to A inverse into B. Why, what is this? Why are we doing this? Because we want to find out the value of x. So we want this x separately, correct? Oh, so we wanted that x separately. All right. And I don't know if you all know this, but that's the property called as associativity, okay? But I don't think you have that right now. So your brackets can be changed, okay? So A inverse into A, this we have done it in the last video, is nothing but identity into x, which is equal to A inverse into B. So what will be the value of x? This is identity is like one मैंने बोला था ना last time. Any this thing matrix को you multiply using identity, you will get that matrix only. So x will be equal to A inverse B. So this is the value of x, okay? So thus there is a unique solution, and that x, y, and z will be unique solution of that particular equation. So let us do it. For example, please remember the steps, okay? These are the steps. You will write it in this form, and then all these things also you will write. So let us do it for one question. This is using method of inversion, all right? Suppose you have something like this, 2x plus 3y is equal to 5. 6x minus 2y is equal to 4. Suppose if we have, so what do we do it? We write A first, right? So given equation can be written in the matrix form as like this, Ax is equal to B, right? So Ax is equal to B. May we know what is A? What is A now? A is nothing but 2, 6, 3 minus 2. X is X and Y. B is 5 and 4. Okay, so Ax is equal to B. We have, what did I tell you? After that we will do this row, right? Multiplying by A inverse on both sides. Multiplying by A inverse. You may have to write these steps again and again, but it is compulsory to write, okay? Don't feel that you've written it once means you don't have to write. It's not like that. You have to write it those many number of times. These explanations I've already given to you above, so I'm not repeating that again.